Hi, everybody. It's good to have you here. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to Remote Job Talk. Let me get us going live in all the locations. There we go. We're good in Facebook this week. Thank goodness. Last week it decided to not work, so I'm happy to see that it's working. And it looks like we are good to go. Okay, awesome. Glasses are sliding off my face again. All right. Well, welcome to Remote Job Talk. I am Katie Castillo, the community expert at VirtForce. And today we're going to be talking about, obviously, remote jobs. We're going to be talking about upcoming events. We're going to have live Q&A. Anytime you have questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. And at the very end, we're going to be talking about some resume faux pas that I have seen recently. So stay tuned for some resume help. First and foremost, this is a live event. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I am keeping an eye on all the locations and I will answer those as I see them come in as best I can. And let me get it up on my phone because Facebook is not going to show me comments from you guys on there. So let me pull this up onto my phone. I see you've got people joining from Facebook. Hello, I see your comments. Hi. So let's get going. First, for those of you who don't know or are new here, at VirtForce, we are owned, operated by military spouses and veterans. We were founded about 8 years ago by Kimber Hill to connect military friendly employers with location flexible roles with military spouses and veterans to really decrease the goal here is to decrease the number of unemployed military spouses and veterans. So that's our purpose. That's what we're doing. And we're doing that primarily through our job board. We have a few ways of helping you get to military friendly employers, location flexible jobs, things like that. First and foremost, it's going to be our job board. So we're going to start there. Get that up. So you can scan this QR code or you can go to jobs. I'm all blurry there. Jobs.virtforce.us. That is our job board. It is a private job board, so you do have to make an account. But it's free. All of our resources are free. We're here to help you. That's what we're here to do. But our job board is private, so not anybody can just like make a job. Like I can't just like post a job on there without it being vetted and legitimate through our recruiting team. So every role on there is legitimate. It's vetted with military friendly employers and they are location flexible. So sometimes that means they're going to be remote. Sometimes they are location specific, but with a company that has a nationwide infrastructure or they're hybrid. So make sure you're checking the information. We try to ask as many questions as possible and put as much information onto these job descriptions as possible for you so that you can know a little bit about what you're getting into, right? So you'll see things like whether it's W-2, 1099, part-time, full-time, what the hourly rate is. Trying to think, oh, the big one is going to be office hours, like quiet office hours, whether it requires full-time quiet office hours, partially quiet office hours, or no quiet office hours. That's our way of asking, like, hey, can I take my laptop to Starbucks to go work? Or can I go work at the library? Or can I have kids in the house at times? So you'll see that asked around. So pay attention to that. And like I said, make sure you make an account. You can update your profile by clicking your name at the top bubble, like on the right-hand corner, once you do sign in. But if you don't sign in, you're not going to see all the jobs. So please make sure that you sign in to see all the jobs. And we're going to talk about a few of those new ones this week and cover a little bit about that. So one thing I do want to mention before we dive into the actual jobs, just as a heads up, our jobs rotate frequently. So if you don't see something that works for you today, just know that there might be something tomorrow. That happens so often. I can't even begin to tell you how often we have a job that goes up the day after or after I do remote job talks and then is down by the next Tuesday. So we just had a remote role go up for our team that is now being interviewed for. So it's down off our job board, but it was up there for about 5 days to a week. So just know they rotate frequently. So keep an eye on that. One good way to make sure that you are getting job updates is if you sign up for our emails. We'll send you emails every time we have a new job. We also post about them every single time we have a new job. We post about it in our Facebook group. So if you're not part of our private VirtForce Facebook group, I highly recommend doing that. we share every single time we have a new job come in, it gets posted there. It's also a great place to like crowdsource information, leads, tips, resources, all of that. It's like 85,000 people. So there's a lot of people in there to help you. Right. So highly recommend checking that out. You can find us on Facebook if you just search in groups for VirtForce. Just make sure you answer the membership questions or we can't admit you. Okay, so let's dive into dogs. Dogs. Woo. Okay, guys, let's back up there. Let's dive into jobs. I'm not going to be talking about dogs. I'm going to be talking about jobs today. I do have 2 dogs, but they're not in here right now. So let's talk about jobs. So first up there, you're going to see the remote controller role. We actually had a role like this up recently. This is a revamped version of that role. It is a controller with the intent to grow into the chief financial officer. So this is somebody looking for a little bit more financial experience and a financial leader. 1099, partially quiet office hours, part-time with the intent to grow into full-time over time. And it is $75 an hour, 75 to $85 an hour. So excellent job. It is 100% remote, US based. So you do have to be in the United States, within one of the 50 states. And they are looking, right, like I said, it's going to be part-time to start. They are looking for like the right fit candidate to grow into a bigger role with this company. So it's going to start out a little bit small time, and then get a little bit bigger. So they're looking for somebody who's a seasoned financial leader with CPA credentials or equivalent experience. So if you're looking for a financial role and you have experience, this is an excellent job opportunity for you. You can find all of the details. I'm just going to give you a couple highlights, but you can go and find all the details on our job board. I do see on Facebook, I see we've got a couple questions coming in about positions. I'm going to get to your questions. I see you on Facebook. Don't worry. I am going to answer those. I'm going to get through these jobs and then I'll hop over to you. Okay. And then, so after remote controller, you'll see some RN roles with Imagine 360. Check those out. They also do have some non-clinical roles at Imagine 360. So you'll also find, if you scroll down on the job board, you'll also see a multi-position link to take you over to the Imagine 360 job board. Make sure that in Imagine 360's job board that you do mark yourself as a VirtForce candidate, so that they know you're coming from us. And okay, so actually I'm going to answer this question about Imagine 360 right now. Oh, speaking of dogs, sorry, one second, guys. I do have a dog in here with me and he's stuck. I didn't realize he was hiding in here with me, so let me let him out. So I see somebody's asking, they applied to a couple of Imagine 360 positions near, okay. So we are in talks with Imagine 360 at the moment about positions that are open with our candidates. So I expect to hear back. I know that they are trying very, very hard to get to all of our VirtForce candidates within about a 10-day turnaround, business day turnaround. So stay tuned. I have reached out to their recruitment team and I am hopefully going to hear back this week and we'll have some more updates. But I do know that they are trying very hard to get to all of our VirtForce candidates, which is why it's so important to mark yourself a VirtForce candidate with them. Okay, so then next I want to talk about the CVS Health outbound call center representative role. So this role is one we highlighted with our CVS Health customer care coffee and connect. That was last week, a week ago. No, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. Whew, man, I don't know how it's already October 7th. Anyways, so we highlighted this outbound call center representative role. This role is really cool with CVS Health because they are hiring several candidates on a fairly regular basis at the moment, or recurring basis at the moment. So there is more than one opportunity to get hired with them. And exciting thing is that 11 job offers for this role have gone out to VirtForce candidates in the last 2 weeks, which is awesome, from our customer care cohort. So we're really excited for our candidates who are getting job offers at CVS Health. And this role is a great way to get in with CVS Health in a customer care position. We actually had a recruiter call with them yesterday, and it's a great position. There is an uncapped commission potential with this role. You have a base pay, but there's an uncapped commission. And she kind of gave us a little hint into like the average on it, and it was pretty astounding. So an awesome opportunity over there. It is fully remote, which is really also fantastic. And while you do have the opportunity more likely to move within the United States with a remote role with CVS Health, one of the cool things about them is that Sarah and from CVS Health was saying yesterday that where you start with CVS Health doesn't mean that you have to stay in that same position. Where you start is not where you have to stay. So there's like a ton of career pathways that open up to you once you're part of CVS Health. So this outbound call center role you'll find on our job board. It is an awesome role. Highly recommend it for anybody looking for a customer care position, or especially if you have customer like service experience or a call center. Check that role out. You'll find it on our job board. It is the outbound call center representative role. And okay, now let me get back over there. CVS Health has other roles on our job board right now. They're looking for pharmacy techs in Washington State. They're also looking for health coach dietitians, preferably Mountain Standard or Pacific Time. You'll also find links to all of the different career areas at CVS Health. I also mentioned the Imagine 360 multiple positions. You'll also find links to all of the travelers positions over at like all the positions at Travelers. You'll find that link in our job board. The nice part with the Travelers link, once you click that, it will mark you as a VirtForce candidate. If you click the link on our job board, it'll take you over there and mark you as a VirtForce candidate once you're there. With CVS Health and with Imagine 360, please make sure that you mark yourself a VirtForce candidate so that they know you're coming from VirtForce. Like I said, Imagine 360 is trying really hard to prioritize VirtForce candidates and get to their applications quickly. So marking yourself a VirtForce candidate is how you can help with that. And same with CVS Health. We have a team hiring. What's happening with my glasses today? We have a team specifically hiring for this outbound call center role that is like waiting for candidates. And so if you mark yourself a VirtForce candidate, that really helps the recruitment team move quickly with your application. Let's see. Okay. And so I talked about the jobs on the job board. Make sure you go check them out. I just did a quick little overview of those and highlighted a few, like the remote controller role. That is a fantastic, awesome position for somebody looking for a 100% remote role that has financial or CPA experience. I know that somebody posted in our VirtForce group about financial roles recently and like accounting roles. This is an awesome role and it has a big opportunities for growth at that company, which is really cool. And then I wanted to highlight the outbound call center representative role of CVS Health. So check those out. Like I said, I am talking to the recruitment teams at CVS Health and at Imagine 360 actually. So things are in the works over there. Stay patient. Just know that there was like after these events that we have with them, they usually get a massive influx of applications. So it can just take a little bit of time. If it's for the outbound call center representative role at CVS Health, like I said, they have like kind of a dedicated team for that role. So they're able to move much quicker with that role. But other ones, it can take a little bit of time. So just be a little bit flexible and patient with those. Okay, so now I want to talk about events. We talked a little bit about events that we've had in the past, but we are about to have an event next week with Travelers. So on October 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern, we are having an event with Travelers Insurance. They will have job links, open job requisitions to share at this event. So it is an employer event where you get to meet the recruitment teams. You'll get to hear a success story from somebody already working at Travelers and really loving it. They're going to share their story. You're going to hear from the recruitment teams about what they're looking for, what they're hiring for. They're going to share open jobs. We do have a fully remote role. We're also going to dive into like Travelers is a massive company with these like a huge spectrum of job opportunities for military spouses, for veterans, no matter who you are, they're going to have opportunities that might fit your background in all different business areas. So they're going to talk about that and how to find those roles within Travelers. So we're going to talk about that on October 14th. It is a virtual event, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So that's 10 a.m. Pacific time. We go live in Zoom. And you'll get to see me. I will welcome you. I'll be the first person you get to talk to over there. And we're going to talk to them. And it's going to be a really fun event. We give away Starbucks gift cards at these events to live attendees, just as like an added bonus for being there. But the big bonus, the big cherry on top here is that they're going to have open jobs to share. So it's a great chance to find out what they're looking for and see how you can kind of set yourself apart from other applicants, because you do get a little bit of the insider look from the recruiters recruiting for the role. They're going to be talking to you specifically about like, hey, this is who I'm looking for in this role, this is who would be successful in this role, and this is how you can stand out. And I can tell you just from past experience, having read all their job descriptions and then having been at these events, you do definitely get a little bit of a leg up on what they're looking for and knowing what to change in your application resume. Um, so I see we have a question here. Sarah would like to know if they're remote roles, how come it's only available in certain states? So certain states have certain laws based on whether it's remote laws, whether it's minimum wage, things like that. So certain states make it much harder to hire in. There's a lot of things that go into that. So certain roles are only available in certain states. There are lots of companies that hire in all 50 states. CVS Health does hire in all 50 states, but there are certain roles that are only available in certain states. They are working, I know, with the outbound. Yeah, see, some Lauren just answered. It could be taxes, licensing, or other regulations, and that is absolutely the case, especially for anything clinical related where you do have to have a license. That could be that's very state dependent. So sometimes they can't make it work depending on the state. So there are lots of reasons for it. If you are talking specifically about the outbound call center role, let me know, because Susie did talk about that yesterday, and I can answer those questions for you. But if it's not what you're asking, it's irrelevant for now. But let me know, Sarah, if there's a specific role you're talking about. But it's yeah, there's a number of reasons. Just because it's remote doesn't mean you can work anywhere in the world. There's lots of taxes and regulations and things like that that still go along with it. Um, so Sarah, it is based on your physical location. So not your mailing address, not your permanent address, not your home of record. That is all very military specific. It is based on your physical location, where you actually reside. So your home of record with the military might be, I don't know, Michigan, but you live in Japan, you're still in Japan, and that's what matters for job applications. So okay, for the outbound call center role. So Sarah, for that role, yes, that one has to do with minimum wage requirements because the pay for the outbound call center representative role is $15 an hour with commission added. That is technically under the they can't hire in certain states due to minimum wage laws. So that's why that one is only available in certain states. I will say that if you are moving to one of those states that it's not available in, still apply if you're in a state where they are currently hiring in, definitely apply. Yeah, it's much easier to move once you're already in with CVS Health. So, yeah, so that's why that role specifically is only available in certain states. So if you live in a state right now where they're hiring, I want to say, I'm getting the list from Susie, but I want to say it's like California is one of the states, maybe Washington, that they can't hire in right now for the outbound call role. It's due to minimum wage, but because the pay is $15 an hour, but you're getting several $1,000s worth of commission on average every month. So, kind of evens out, but because it's the minimum wage, they don't factor in the commission potential on that role. But if you do reside in a state, like if they hire in, this is just hypothetical right now, but if they hire in Arizona and you're about to move to California in like 6 months, definitely still apply to that outbound call role right now. That's my advice. Um, Okay, and I see D on YouTube would like to know, is starting pay negotiable for the customer care roles? So I can say for the outbound call center role, it is not negotiable. The pay is the pay because of the large potential earnings on commission for that role. So most just know CVS Health specifically, actually all of them are pretty clear on what the pay expectations are, what the salary expectations are. If you have questions, obviously it's role dependent, and there is obviously a little bit of variance based on experience. So it's something you can talk to your recruiter about. But I will say, just know, like going into these roles, especially like when they set a salary, just know like that's probably what it is. But with the outbound call role, that one there's not negotiation on the salary because of the commission potential. No problem. Um, Sorry, I'm checking really fast to make sure I haven't missed any questions. I think I've got them all so far. So back to our travelers event, we sort of wee around there. But next week on Tuesday, so a week from today, Is that really a week from today? Yes, that's a week from today, everybody. We are going live with Travelers on Zoom. It's going to be a great option or opportunity. They're so fun, and our guests are going to be great. I'm really excited for this event. Travelers is a fantastic company, and as a remote like company offering benefits and things like that, they offer the full package of benefits, which is really fantastic. They are very military spouse and veteran friendly. They have a lot of support there for you. So it's going to be a great event. I hope to see you guys there. If you haven't RSVP'd, please do that. Those RSVP numbers are very helpful for me to know who's going to be there. You'll also get reminders about the event. You'll get the Zoom link for the event. And then after the event, you'll also get a recap email with like all the tips that we shared in the event. You'll get the links that were shared in the event, and you'll get the replay recording when that's available. So if you haven't RSVP'd for Travelers, please do that. Here, I'll drop the link also because I realize a lot of you are probably watching from your phones and unavailable or not. You can't click it. So let me drop that link. So okay, apparently Facebook. Okay, there it goes. There you go. So I dropped the Travelers link to click and RSVP. I hope to see you guys there. We are talking the full run of jobs at Travelers. So it's not just we are obviously going to be sharing some customer service jobs. We've got a sales job that's going to be really fantastic. We had several VirtForce members from last year get hired into this role and just like crush it. So we do have a sales role that's going to be shared that's fully remote. We're also going to be talking about other hybrid, remote, and location flexible roles within Travelers in all different business areas. So kind of no matter what you're looking for, except for maybe if you're looking like for a clinical RN role, we're going to be talking about all sorts of different roles with them. So that's going to be super fun. I hope to see you guys there. And then after that, I have like a very small like amount of letters I can use. So this is our CVS Clinical Coffee and Connect. It is on October 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom. We are talking all things clinical. So all sorts of different roles, clinical within CVS Health. This event's going to be really fun. We're bringing on a couple different recruiters for different business areas at CVS Health. So we're going to be talking to Signify Health, Minute Clinic, and Oak Street Health, and their recruitment teams who thrives in either any of those business divisions. We're going to be hearing a military spouse success story, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be super fun. We will have jobs for that event as well. Pretty much all of these events, we have jobs to share, which is like a huge benefit to being at this event is you get the link right away. So this is CVS Clinical. I know that not all of you watching are clinical, but if you are clinical or know somebody who is clinical looking for a job, this is an excellent opportunity. This is going to be a lot of fun. An event kind of like we've never really had before, with our panel of recruitment team that we're going to be talking to. And we are also launching our CVS clinical cohort at this event. So I'm going to be talking. I'm one of your guest speakers, and I'm going to be talking about the clinical cohort. So you heard me mention the customer care cohort with CVS Health. We are launching a clinical cohort with them as well, where I help kind of hold your hand and support you all the way through the application process. We have a recruiter connect call. I do office hours. I literally just did a live video in our customer care cohort today to talk about stuff and give people tips. I'm going to be doing the same with clinical, and you'll be getting kind of hands-on concierge style support in that, and direct connection to recruiters, direct advocacy, all of that. So we're going to be talking about that at the event, giving details, and also for sign up for the clinical cohort will be available during that event. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. The customer care cohort has been a big success in the 2 weeks that we've had it so far. Really excited about this opportunity. I'm really excited about our 11 candidates so far as of Friday. So who knows how many now, but we have at least 11 candidates just for one role who've been hired in from the customer care cohort. So that's like really awesome. So it's like my favorite thing in the whole world when I get messages from you guys and emails from you guys telling you got hired. And that's been really wonderful so far to see from the customer care cohort. So we're hoping to do the same thing with the clinical. And I'm really excited to see all of that come through. And then speaking of, if you are interested in a customer care role with CVS Health, I'm going to share this link. This is the CVS Health cohort sign up. You can sign up there. We're doing expedited job alerts. It'll walk you through the whole thing if you go to this page. But this is how you sign up for the customer care cohort. We're doing this over the next year. So do that. It's going to be awesome. We're sharing information. And like I said, I did a live video in there today talking about stuff. And it's been kind of fun. Our community members who've gotten hired have shared their stuff, or somebody had an interview today and shared how that went. So hoping it seems to be working really well to help our candidates get hired at CVS Health. So I'm excited for that for you guys. It's been really wonderful. So if you're interested, that's a sign up. You can also comment on the video on Facebook and I can share it later. But anyways, I'm going to re-put this up there. CVS Clinical Coffee and Connect on October 23rd. So it's a Thursday on Zoom. We will be giving away Starbucks gift cards as we do, but there will also be jobs shared at that event. So that's why coming to these live events and RSVPing is so awesome, is that you get, not only do we give away coffee, but you get first dibs, kind of, right? First shot at some of these jobs that they'll be sharing. So it's going to be great. Okay. So we've sort of had some questions. If you keep having questions, please drop them in the chat. Let me know if you have them. I'm happy to answer them. I am now going to talk about some resume issues that I have seen. So I have seen hundreds of, and this is a small fraction of them. I'm not even our talent director, right? But I've seen several hundred resumes in the last couple weeks. And I want to talk about that and some faux pas that I'm seeing and things that you guys can work on. And first, before I really start diving into this, I want to ask you to please have an open mind, because the number of candidates that have issues on their resume, everybody will tell me, I don't do that. That's not me. But I'm only bringing this up because I'm seeing an overwhelming number of these issues on resumes. So please have an open mind. Maybe you don't have these issues, maybe you do, but let's just have an open mind, because I think it would be beneficial. So we're going to talk about it. These are some issues that I've seen. I'm not going to give you specifics. Obviously, I'm not going to call anybody out, but I am seeing these like fairly widespread. So I'm talking more than just a handful of candidates. I'm seeing these issues in. So hold on one second. Sorry, guys. My allergies are. All right. Sorry, I'm back. Okay. So let's talk about some resume stuff. So there's obviously lots of different formats, lots of different things, and it changes based on the thing. You all know that our thing we say more often than anything else is probably tailor your resume. And I do mean that. So tailor your resume, because I did see several resumes that were not tailored to the job at hand or the company at hand. So make sure you're tailoring. And so a few things I want to say. The number of AI resumes and cover letters that I saw was astounding, and they jump out so fast. And I'm not saying don't use AI. The AI has its place, and it can be very useful and very helpful. If you're going to use AI, you better spend time editing every single line that you get from AI. The number of AI errors that I saw, where it gives you a bracket of start date where you are supposed to edit that and put your start date in, and you didn't, was astounding. I saw so many AI errors, or like insert hiring manager's name, insert address, insert job title. So AI errors just off the charts all the time. So if you want to use AI, that's fine, but just please make sure that you are editing, like very closely editing what you are getting from AI. Because it's making errors and we can see them. Two, it doesn't sound like you. It sounds like a person. The number of cover letters that were the same, like almost word for word, was shocking. So the cover letter is your chance to stand out and really show you and let you shine as a candidate. And if you're using AI, it's taking all of that personality that makes you you out of your cover letter. So again, feel free to use it to get some pointers, some tips, get something flowing and working. That's fine. But please make sure that you're editing it and putting your personality into your cover letter and making sure that all the information is filled in, accurate, um, and like up to date for you. Because it wasn't. I can say there was a lot of those errors. Um, and I saw that all the time. So along with that is like typos. It's very small, but please make sure that you edit your stuff. Lots of misspellings or like um obvious like a common where when you type really fast and you like transpose a letter, two letters because you're typing really fast, happens to me all the time. Just make sure you're going through and editing. Just like take whatever you're going to send, read it out loud, and make sure because then that's how I feel like that's the best way to catch. Like, oh, I misspelled company. Oops. Like, just do that. And then something that goes kind of along with this too is like please, please, please make sure you're paying attention to how you are supposed to submit your information. We asked for PDF formats for resumes for several different things recently, and about 40% of them were submitted in doc format, zipped files, or like pages. And you're probably not going to get looked at if you don't send your stuff in correct format. If they specifically ask, like if CVS Health is asking for your resume to be submitted in PDF format, please make sure you're submitting it in PDF format. That says a lot about you as a candidate when you take the time to read those small details and submit it the correct way. Um, Remember, you're trying to put your best foot forward. And if your boss is asking you to submit something in PDF format and you submit it in pages, that's not putting your best foot forward. Um, okay, so I see we have a question. Already applied for a job and updated resume based on my suggestions. Can you resubmit on the same position? It depends on who the job is for. So CVS Health allows you to update your resume in their system, and I believe Imagine 360 and Travelers do as well. You can resubmit to VirtForce, but my advice is to slow down and take your time before you apply so that you're not submitting it like 3 times to us. We are a tiny team, and if we see you've submitted it like 6 times because you didn't take the time to read it properly, that's just not putting your best foot forward, right? So please do that. Um, but yeah, I don't know who specifically. I don't want to say your name because I'm really afraid I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Reg, maybe. I don't want to mess it up. I'm sorry if I butchered that. But it depends on where you're applying to resubmit your application. Just as a heads up. But back to that, make sure that you please read carefully these submission guidelines and how you're supposed to submit your stuff. If we ask you to, if somebody, whether it's us or anybody else, they ask you to submit it in PDF format as one document, please do that. It says it's ironic when you don't, and it says on your resume that you have strong attention to detail, right? So, just a tip. Let's see. Oh, something else that goes along with editing. I saw a lot of wrong job titles. So obviously you're using the same resume to apply for multiple positions. So I got a lot of like, I'm applying for a virtual assistant role. And it wasn't a virtual assistant role, or I saw some, like I said, I looked at them for a variety of things. But if you're applying for a customer service role and it says you're looking for an HR position, um, obviously says you're not taking the time to slow down and edit this position or edit your resume for this particular position, right? You want to tailor it to every single job that you apply for. And I know it takes time, but it is worth it because if you say you are interested in a virtual assistant position and you've applied for a customer service position, we're going to be like, I don't think you meant to apply with us then. So I don't think you mean to do this. So they're probably not going to look at your resume. I see Margaret is asking, is there somewhere in particular to send our resume in for review prior to submitting? So if you're applying for a job on the VirtForce job board, you can send your resume to hire@virtforce.us with information. So please don't just send your resume because that doesn't help us at all. We want to know what job you're applying for. Um, and like give us some basic information about you with your resume attached to the PDF. We will give you some basic feedback on that. We're not going to give you like every single bullet point. We don't have the capacity to do that right now. But we will take a look at your resume if it's for something on our job board and give you some feedback. We can do that. I will say on that note, don't use a resume writer. Don't pay a resume writer to do that. There are lots of free services out there to help you and lots of free resources to help educate you so that you can do it yourself. If you pay a resume writer, you will likely regret it and it probably won't be worth your money. A few free resources. We have a resume boot camp on our jobs website. If you go to jobs.virtforce.us, you can go to learning and you'll see resume boot camp on there. Our Instagram has a ton of quick tips on how to do stuff and like how to do it. And then Hiring Our Heroes, My Seco, Fleet and Family, or your branch specific version of whatever Fleet and Family is. The USO, I might have missed somebody. So if anybody has any other suggestions, drop those in the chat. But there are lots of free resources out there for you on how to do your resume. But I would not recommend a resume writer. So I will also say something else I'm seeing a lot of is that there'll be a thing at the top of like key skills, key strengths, key competencies, and they'll highlight all the things that were in the job description. So yay for you reading the job description and tailoring a little bit. However, if you have a section that has your key skills, strengths, competencies, whatever they are, I'm going to look for those in your bullet points and your work experience. So if you're telling me that you have, I'm making this up, but if you have 2 years of call center experience, because that's what the job description is asked for, I'm going to go look in your work experience. And if I don't see it reflected there, then I'm going to feel like you're lying to me, right? So make sure that whatever you have in your, if you have a key skills, strengths, competencies, whatever you want to call it, area, make sure all of that is extremely visible in your work experience. And I asked our talent director and she prefers that to be at the bottom. Like a professional summary at the top is fine, but like the key stuff, let's just get straight into your work experience. And honestly, you don't really need that key skill, key competency area or transferable skills section if you're tailoring your actual bullet points, which that's where we're going anyways, right? We're going to look at your work experience. And that's where I want to see if you have the call center experience that I'm looking for, I want to see that in your number one bullet point from when you worked at XYZ company, right? Let's see, I have a comment here. Oh, Erica saying, can you tell me where on the CVS to list the military VirtForce source? I've applied a few times and never seen it. So in the like, where did you hear about us? How did you hear about us section? There is like a drop down and it's not like on the main drop down. You might have to click a few. It's under military and then VirtForce. So it's military tac VirtForce, Erica on YouTube. Okay. And so make sure, so this, like I said about the bullet points, but when you're writing your bullet points, feel free to rearrange those so that, because while it may have not been your like primary responsibility when you worked as a bank teller to do this particular duty, if it is the most transferable skill, that is the most important experience that you have there. So anyways, that's my points on bullet points. I saw a lot of people who had key competency sections or transferable skills that they obviously pulled from the job description, which is great because you're reading it, but then I never saw them reflected in their actual work experience bullet points. So then it felt like you were lying, right? Or it'll make the recruiter feel like maybe you're not being honest or you didn't actually tailor your resume. So that's why tailoring your resume is so important. One thing I did want to mention too is to make sure that you are reviewing your final documents to make sure they look good. I know personally from personal experience, converting Word to a PDF document makes me want to rip my hair out. I had to convert the same document probably like 23 times one day because every time I converted the Word document to a PDF document, it like bumped stuff down like paragraphs or like it was just making me crazy. Stuff wasn't working the way it was supposed to. So make sure when you convert to a PDF that you open the final PDF document that you're going to be submitting and just make sure the formatting looks good. I know that it messes up and I know that it's not your fault, but just make sure that little attention to detail is there, that you're checking that. Because I saw it a couple times. And from personal experience, like I said, converting Word to PDF can be a nightmare. And having seen what it has done to some of my documents, I don't want that to happen to your resumes. So just make sure you're reviewing your final documents that you're going to upload and submit for your application. Make sure you review those. Make sure everything is formatted the way you want it to be formatted and looks the way you want it to be looking. Along with that, please make sure that your email address and your contact information is updated and correct. It's happened, and I know I'm not the only one, but where we've had incorrect email addresses, when we've gone to reach out to somebody and the email address is incorrect. It happens more frequently than you think. So please don't be like, oh, it's not me. It's not me. But you assume that your email address is correct. So please just double check it, because it's happened where we go to reach out to somebody about an application and their email address is wrong. So we can't get in touch with them. So check that, please. All your contact information on there, just make sure it's all updated. Let's see. Make sure that you're being specific about stuff. If all you say is, I was a social media manager, but you don't give me a company or any more information, it's hard to verify that or know that you actually have that experience. So try to be a little bit more specific, and give us a company name, give us some dates, give us more details. Oh, let's see. And then you don't necessarily, unless it's specifically asked for on the job application, you do not need to put your GPA from any schooling. You do not need to put whether it was volunteer. You do not need to put whether it was part-time hours, full-time hours. I worked 15 hours. I worked 40 hours. They don't need to know that unless they have specific, like the job description has specifically asked for any of that. You don't need to put that on there. And then one thing I wanted to mention about tailoring that I saw, I mean, I could talk about resumes for like 7 hours, I think. One thing I did really want to mention though, is that, like, so for example, for like the outbound call role, I just had pulled this up because I had pulled this up earlier to talk about it in our customer care cohort. So like for the outbound call center role, they're looking for somebody with ideally somebody with call center experience or customer service experience. If you have call center experience, like if you have made outbound calls as part of your job, whether it's sales or customer care or whatever it is, that bullet point, move that to the very top of that work experience. So when you say like, hey, I worked at ABC company and I was a sales coordinator. All of this is just made up right now, just so you know. But if you say I like I was a sales coordinator at ABC company and I, did customer stuff, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, and I did sales and outbound calls. The outbound call part is probably the most transferable skill and experience that you have from that job. Put it right at the top. Rearrange those bullet points. That's totally fine. They're all part of the work experience as long as you have done it and you're not lying. Absolutely reorder those and rearrange those. And that's the best way to highlight the job. Elizabeth is asking, what if you had a really good GPA? I mean, there's no real reason to put it on there. If you've graduated, you graduated, right? Like good job on your good GPA. I'm proud of mine too, but it's not necessary to put on your resume. It's not like harmful necessarily to put it on there, but it's just not really necessary to put on your resume. So you don't need to put it, especially like work hours. That was the big one, is you don't need to put work hours, whether it was part-time or full-time or paid or unpaid or volunteer, whatever it was. You don't have to put that on your resume. But my best advice to kind of round out this resume conversation is, if you want to, when you're submitting your resume to a recruiter, you want to make it as easy as possible for that recruiter to glance at your work experience and see that you have the required or preferred experience for the job that you are applying for. Make it as easy as possible for them to see that you are an excellent candidate for this job that you've applied for, right? Make it as easy as possible for them to see that. I told somebody this last week, so I'm going to say it here too, that like, it's a good thing to do when you're looking at your resume and your bullet points that you've put in for all of your work experience, to ask yourself, why would a recruiter want to know this? Right? Why would they want to know it? Is it pertinent or transferable or relevant to the job you're applying for? Maybe not. Maybe so. But just ask yourself that so that way you're not adding in a bunch of fluff that's not relevant to what they're actually looking for, or that it's not disguising the stuff that actually makes you stand out as a candidate, right? So just ask yourself, why would a recruiter want to know this? Do they need to know it? Um, and make it as easy as possible for them to see that you are the most qualified candidate for that role. Like I said, we could talk about resumes for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So if you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to help. There are lots of free resources out there for you to get information. And that is about it for today's remote job talk. I will see you guys on Tuesday for Travelers Coffee and Connect. As a result, I will probably move remote job talk to Monday because it's really hard to do this and a live event all on the same day. So I will probably do remote job talk on Monday, October 13th. And then we'll do Travelers. I'll see you guys at Travelers on Zoom on October 14th. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, a great rest of your week.